Hey y'all! Oh my god, am I live? I'm so nervous. Hey y'all, if y'all can hear me, I am Bethany Shanae. This is my YouTube channel. I am Bethany Shanae. I see all cuties in the comments. Hi, thank you for coming. The first person here. So this live, I just found out from StreamYard, will not be recorded. So it seems like this may be the only time that it will be living on the internet, which oddly enough makes me feel a little less nervous, but I'm still nervous. My social anxiety is showing out today. Can anybody let me know if you can hear me? Let's see. I can hear my dogs downstairs barking. Okay, so, well, welcome to my first live. I am Bethany Shanae. This channel has been dedicated to documenting my journey to lose 120 pounds. I thank you, Fia, for letting me know you can hear me. Hi, by the way. Yeah, I'm trying to lose 120 pounds at least. I'm not really sure if it'll be more or shortly or a little bit less than 120 pounds that I lose, because once I get down around, let's see, what's 120 pounds from when I started? I think that means my goal was 150. Excuse me. Once I get around 160, 150, I think I'm going to want to look at my body composition and see if I'm happy with the amount of fat that I have on my body, because if I am, then I'll just focus on adding muscle. But I've recently kind of restructured my channel to focus more on my mental health. I think majority of people that I've ever met that are obese have struggled with traumas, and they've had poor experiences. And a lot of people, I find, end up making health improvements once they start getting therapy and working on their traumas. I know for me, all my eating disorders are trauma related. I remember when my binge eating first started when I was 7. So I can remember the first thing I ate, it was a Pop-Tart. I ate like 3 packs of Pop-Tarts when my mom was asleep after an experience that I had. And that was the beginning of it for me. So I know a lot of people who are obese struggled with traumas. So I feel like I need to focus on my mental health to beat my obesity. And if I want to help other people with honesty and being authentic over aesthetic, then that's going to include focusing on mental health. And you know what? I haven't binged since I started focusing on mental health. So I'm really excited about that. I actually got emotional in last week's midweek update, which was my first midweek update. But yeah, I think focusing on mental health makes a big difference on a health journey, because I forget who said it, but someone once said, I think I saw it on YouTube, probably someone like, he started Quest. Oh, I forget his name. I'm pretty sure he's the one that said it, but that obesity is disordered eating. That to be obese is an eating disorder in itself. It's disordered eating. You're eating beyond your body's needs. You're eating for reasons that are not to survive. That is a form of disordered eating. And when he said that, I was like, oh my God, that just clicked for me. So I feel like in order to address the disordered eating at the most basic level of obesity, you have to focus on what the root of it is. And for me personally, it's food gives me comfort. Like if I'm having anxiety or I'm panicking, unfortunately, alcohol and food both have been that quiet calm for me. It kind of eases my mind. It kind of gives me a sense of comfort. So I feel like ever since I've been focusing more on my mental health, meditating, although I definitely need to do it more. I'm going to actually meditate after this live. Hi, country girl. How do I show comments? Do I just click on them? Sorry, I also have ADHD, so buckle up, buttercup. But yeah. Hi, all cuties. Hi, Fia. And hi, country girl. Thanks for coming. So yeah, I feel like ever since I've just been focusing on the meditation and praying more for my own form of mental health. Like I said, I haven't binged. I'm just feeling more in control. And I feel like that's the missing link for a lot of people and for a lot of influencers on YouTube is I feel like not enough people put enough focus on the mental health part of it. Because even if you do Wegovy or Ozempic, something like that, which I have tried, the medicine stops the food noise in your mind, but it doesn't get you to where you can get off the medicine and be okay. It just removes the temptation of the weakness. It doesn't allow you to build that muscle to overpower that weakness of binge eating or whatever it is of your obesity. So I feel like focusing on the mental health allows us to really work at the root of why am I doing this, even though I know it doesn't benefit me. But that's enough for ramble, probably number 1 of 87 for tonight. So, hi, Miss Tan24. What is WOE? I'm a little slow. What does WOE stand for? In the comments, I will happily answer. I honestly, you haven't missed nothing. This is what? Oh, it's been 6 minutes already. Y'all, I ramble. Oh, I did not realize it has, way of eating. Okay, so I am still sticking to carnivore. Or trying to my best. Actually, today, my lunch, I'll probably insert a picture of it and I'll probably do another midweek update this week. I'll probably insert a picture I took of it. I cut up some bacon. I like to cut my bacon with scissors. I don't know about anybody else. I cut my bacon with scissors. Whenever I get a pack of bacon, I cut it in half, the whole pack, stick it on top of each other, stick it in a Ziploc. Because I like being able to use half slices of bacon, plus it fits in the pan easier. I know, I'm weird. But I cut up 3 slices of bacon, and I browned them. I scooped them out. I reserved the fat, and then I took about half a pound or so of beef stew meat. But it was like the weird odds and ends that you get on clearance, like not all the same pieces are the same size. And cooked it off in the bacon fat, and I used some adobo seasoning, and then I mixed it together in a bowl with a little bit of feta. It was so good, y'all. It was so good. I didn't finish it on my lunch break, so I took the rest of work. So I was like, I'm not letting this go to waste. It was so good. But yeah, I'm still doing carnivore. I'm doing my best. I have just taken away the sense of beating myself up when I go off plan, because they got to a point where at the end of the day, I'm a food addict. I struggle with alcoholism, and I binge eat. So when the struggles that I've been dealing with long before my channel would come up, it would almost make me resent the fact that I started a channel, because it's like, damn, now I have to be honest. Like, I don't ever want to get to the point where I'm like eating cake and then telling y'all, oh, I stuck to carnivore. You know what I mean? So it's that I would have moments of like, why did I start this? But I've wanted to start a YouTube channel since at least 2013. Although back then it would have been makeup, but that's neither here nor there. So it's like, once I realized, okay, beating myself up over these things, first of all, did not take the food out my belly, did not fix the issue, and it's just making me resent something that I actually really love doing. And I realized, okay, the issue is beating myself up about it. And once I started focusing on the mental health part, how I speak to myself when I do things like that, I found they happen less often. They happen less often to the extent that they were happening, if that makes sense. Like, since I announced that I was restructuring my channel to focus on mental health, I haven't binged. Like, y'all, I haven't binged. I've been a binge eater for almost 24 years, since I was 7 years old. Like, right after my 7th birthday, type of 7 years old. Like, y'all, the fact that I just realized I stopped beating myself up about something, and I started taking time to focus on thinking positive things and remembering that my brain has strength, that the human brain is the most powerful thing on this planet. God gave us power to create. The extent of that, I'm still trying to explore. But our brains, they say that it's scientifically proven that our perspective on life has the ability to physically alter reality. Buddha's Brain, one of the books I've been reading, it actually talks about how the human brain's perception of reality is just enough to keep you from bumping into the couch when you pass it. When I read that, I was like, that is absolutely crazy to me, but I get it. Like, that makes sense, because for me, I can be someone that I can develop, I don't know how to put it. Like, I'm sensitive to people's shifts and changes. So if a couple of people shift weird, I will probably first assume that I did something wrong, or that they're thinking something about me. And I have to tell myself, honey, you're not that important. Chill. Like, people are not out to get you. But my brain's ability to be like, no, that makes perfect sense. That is reality. And then you figure out what it is. And it's like, wait, how did you ever get to that first assumption in the first place? When I read that part of Buddha's Brain, it was like a light bulb went off. And I was like, okay, so what I think determines my perception of my life. So one thing that I've said for years, and I really stuck with it, like, it really became a part of my perspective on life, like majorly during 2020, during COVID, is that life is just us in our perspective bubbles kind of coexisting. Everything is just a perspective bubble. Like, how you're perceiving this right now is completely different from how I'm perceiving it, but we're experiencing something within our perspective bubbles. And that's how life is. We're all just walking around in our perspectives. So how we see other people interacting with us, they might see it completely different. And when you kind of detach other people's intentions and the outside's, I guess, the external world's intent on how it affects you, and you just focus on how you want it to affect you, it completely changes your perspective and how you receive it. So I feel like focusing on mental health really helps with weight loss. I mean, I finally got a negative week. Y'all, I was kind of concerned for a minute there because the scale kept going up. I was like, I cannot keep losing these same 10 pounds of water weight. I don't want to do it, And honestly, I'm very upfront that it's water weight. With that, like, if I'm ever losing more than 5 pounds a week, especially if I just ate carbs, I have no problem being upfront that it was water weight. You know what I mean? Because I always hated watching people do challenges and use really, really old before photos for like how they started the week, and like they took a photo of how they are now, but it was constantly, they made it seem like the water weight was they lost pure fat for clickbait. I don't ever want to be perceived that way. So I always try to be really upfront that it's water weight, especially because a lot of people will think, oh my God, I ate carbs. I just gained 5 pounds in 2 days. I'm a failure. Honey, your body's just retaining water. Let's see, carbohydrate. How did someone put it to me one time? Carbohydrate, they broke it down. It's carbon and hydration. I don't know how accurate that is. I have a bad habit of not fact checking people. But when they put it that way, it made it really easy for my mind to remember that it's a form of hydration. It's a form of electrolyte, is carbohydrates, which is why when you cut them out, you have to supplement with electrolytes. So it's really important you lose a lot of water weight when you first switch over. So it's easy. That's another reason why I love egg fasts. Egg fasts, or really any type of really restrictive fat that keeps you at just fat and protein. I like them because it helps me get that water weight off quick. So I feel more confident that whatever I lose the next week or after that fast is over, that's going to be more towards the fat I want to lose. I'm not taking 2 weeks to lose the water weight. I'm getting that out the way. But also, when I do fast like that, it kicks me into ketosis. So I would rather just kind of suck it up for a couple days and get through an egg fast, a beef and butter fast, whatever it is that you want to do for a couple of days to kick yourself into ketosis, because once I'm in ketosis, it's so much easier to stick to carnivore. Is way easier. And that's actually what I found that this past week. Day one, I got a Keto Mojo. I had bought a, what's it called? A finger prick, a glucose and ketone monitor, blood ketone monitor on Amazon, but it was like $30. I was really struggling. And I was like, I'm just going to get this. It did not work well at all. I could not figure out what the numbers meant. I had to Google every single time I wanted to see what my numbers were at. I had to Google their website. I had to go to the help section and find where their chart was to figure out what the numbers correlated to. So I just sent it back. I was like, I can't do this. So I got my Keto Mojo back. And I didn't test at the beginning of the day, but I guarantee you I was not in ketosis because I had been drinking and eating carbs. And yeah, by the time it was that night around 8 p.m., I think it was, I tested my ketones and I was reading at 0.5. And that, I believe, is just at the beginning of being in a level of ketosis. I wasn't deep in ketosis, but it was really cool to see, oh, wow, it works in 12 hours. And I think it worked because there was a lot of fat. I didn't realize how high the fat to protein ratio was when I did an egg fast. But yeah. Good for you. What are you doing to work on your mental health? I'm so curious at what other people do. I know for me, meditation really helps. Actually, I have a story. So I used to meditate for 15 to 30 minutes every morning when I would wake up. When I wasn't working during COVID, I think it was towards the tail end, like mid 2020, right? And I would meditate so deep. And it's funny because sometimes after I meditate, I don't know if everybody believes in this. I don't know if it's something to believe in or not, but they say like when you're in a certain meditative state, sometimes you can see the color of your aura. It's almost like a little like glow. And it's really hard to see, but it's like almost like a little color glow to your skin. I would wake up and I would come out of my meditation and I would feel like this buzzing inside. Like I felt like I had a beehive in me, right? And I would just feel so good. And I'd look at my hands and it would usually be like yellow, more of a yellow color. But one time I meditated and I went in the living room to my mom. I had moved back in with her at the time. And I remember I sat next to her and her arm just barely touched my arm. She was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "What?" I'm like, "What?" I don't know what's going on. She was like, you're like vibrating. I was like, "What?" And she put her hand on me. She's like, "Yeah, you're like vibrating." And my mom's not someone that really believes in meditation. She's very religious, but not very spiritual, if that makes sense. Like, she believes firmly in the Bible and everything specifically in there and her experiences in life, obviously. But she hasn't really delved into meditation and other forms of spirituality beyond the religion as much as I have. So I know she understands that like meditation like helps quiet your mind, but I don't think she ever believed in like the vibration stuff like that. So to see her react like that and say that she could feel how I was vibrating was absolutely mind-boggling. That made me want to meditate even more. So yeah, that's my meditation. Sorry. But so yeah, meditation, prayer, a lot of prayer. For my meditative prayers, I like to do deep breaths. My friend, actually Fia, taught me that like to really focus on your intuition. She said, put your hand over your heart, close your eyes, try to like be in a quiet space, isolate yourself, and do deep breaths, slow deep breaths, controlled, and focus like imagine like a river or the motion, like you're breathing through your heart, and imagine that that's your intuition, right? And that would help center you. And it really does help me be able to distinguish between my intuition and my fears or thoughts, right? But I also use that to help me get into a meditative state before I pray. And I will just have a conversation with God. And sometimes it's not I always try to make sure that I don't just ask for things. I thank him for things. I try to thank him for everything. I thank him that the fact that my concealer matches now and I don't have to wear a full face of makeup to blend it out. I try to think of the smallest things that I can thank God for when I'm thanking him, because I always want to live a life of gratitude. So yeah, I'll get into a meditative state, and sometimes I'll just talk to him quietly in my mind. I'll burn my incense on top of my dresser, and although I can't hear him talk back, I feel heard. And that is something that is so deeply healing for me, is to feel heard. Another thing that I've been doing for my mental health is I've been reading Buddha's Brain, which my interpretation of the book is it mixes Buddhist practices with the science behind why they work and understanding the science of our brain and our neurological system. Neurological system? Is that a word? I think that's a word. I'm sure someone will let me know if it's not a word. I think that is a word. But anyway, yeah, those are the things. Also trying to speak something positive. When I recently heard on, damn, I can never remember the name of his channel. He started Quest. Darn it. I saw a video by him recently, and someone he was interviewing said that science has proven that the power behind thoughts and words, right? There's power behind thoughts and words, and they were able to gauge it. The power behind a negative thought is 4 to 7 times stronger than the power behind a single positive thought. But that by speaking the negative thought into actual verbal words, it amplified it by 10 times, which means it's no longer 4 to 7 times stronger. It's 40 to 70 times stronger. So to think something bad is like you'd have to think 5 to 8 positive things to outweigh it. But if you say it, that's 40 to 70 positive things you'd have to think. I wonder if positive thoughts, saying them out loud, is 10 times as strong too. I could work with that math. I could. But anyway, so I've been trying not to speak my negative thoughts, and I've really been trying to, if I do think something negative, I try to think or say 3 things positive. It's a new habit I'm still trying to build, but I'm working on it. So let's see. Country girl. I pray, meditate, read the Bible, exercise, and take deep breaths. I sit on the deck and enjoy nature, relaxing, positive affirmations. I love all that. If there weren't so many mosquitoes in Texas, I would be sitting on the deck too. I like to go out front and be kind of the oddball neighbor that I take my shoes off and just go stand with my feet in the front yard, because there's more grass out in the front yard. The dogs go in the back and tear up the grass. So I like to go in the front yard. But yeah, I haven't done it in a while because of the mosquitoes. So please enjoy your deck for me. Yeah, reading the Bible helps a lot too. And nature. Back home in California, I would hike. I miss hikes. Texas, I say I want to go for a hike and people take me to I live in Houston, so they take me to, I think it's called Memorial Park. I think it's called Memorial. Yeah, I think it's Memorial Park, but it's flat. I miss walking on dirt paths uphill, not too up because I got shin splints one time, but uphill at an incline, walking through trees. There's a sound that your feet, each of your steps in the dirt and the gravel and different sizes of pebbles that you step on makes, that I can literally play in my head when I think of hiking, and it's so soothing. My best friend and I used to hike all the time, and it's just, I really miss it. When I go back for my trip this summer, I literally have, I think, 8 hikes planned for a 10-day trip. So some days I will be doing 2 hikes. I'm really excited. But yeah, nature. God created everything we need for healing in nature. So food heals. Okay. We don't need, I agree with Carnivore that we don't need to eat the rainbow, but I feel like there are still healing properties in a lot of non-carnivore foods that are better for you than standard medicine in some situations. Like oregano oil is really good for you, I believe. If you're not on a carnivore diet. If you're on a carnivore diet, you don't need it. But ooh, my ADHD just kicked in. I'm sorry, y'all. In all things acknowledge him is what the Bible says. Amen. I feel a lot. When I was younger, I used to feel I felt like the weird girl. I am the weird girl. Let's be real. I will always be the weird kid. And I found peace with it. I kind of just like, honestly, my tribe is my tribe. Who gets along with me, who can tolerate my kind of wackiness is who's meant for me. And the people who don't like it, okay. I don't mind do not liking it, right? But when I was younger, I used to not share about my faith as much because a lot of people I grew up around, not like my people, but like at schools and stuff, would kind of look at me weird. Like I was that kid in elementary school that would close my eyes and put my hands over my food and pray. Like when I tell you my faith has been strong from the womb, my mom used to put the Bible on cassette tape on. I was born in the 90s, so they still had the over the ears with the like little fuzzy muffs, right? She used to put it on her pregnant belly when she was pregnant with me. From I think a couple, like when the belly stuck out enough for something to like sit on it. Because you got to remember back then they were shaped like this. I don't think they like adjusted at any point back then. So once she could, she has made sure that I knew God. And I can never thank her enough for that. So it's taken me a lot to get to that point, but many years ago I did get to that point where I acknowledge him in all things and I find power in it. And I have no embarrassment if people think I'm weird. Okay. I love you anyway because he told me to. So, and I don't judge anybody for their beliefs. I can hang out with a Buddhist, a Muslim, an atheist. I can hang out with absolutely anybody. It's not my job to judge. So, I think that's another thing that acknowledging God and my faith. Sometimes I have to clarify because a lot of people are quick to assume that all Christians are the stereotypical. I don't know if this is something you're allowed to say. I don't know if this is something wrong, but it's how it was described to me by people in the South. But there's something called the Bible Belt. It's some area in America, but it's like a belt shape, I guess. And the Christian practices and beliefs there are amongst the more extreme. And people have told me that that's where a lot of people get their stigmas, their negative stigmas towards Christianity from, are those practices. So I'm always prepared to tell people I love God and God loves me and God loves you. So I love you too. You do grounding too? I do too, because I know the neighbors think I'm crazy, right? Yes, 100%. I'm the only neighbor that will go outside and just be in the yard. My next door neighbors to the right of us, it's a young Black couple. I'm just like, yes, break stereotypes. Yes. They're a beautiful family. I think it's a husband and wife. They have a little girl, and I want to say they have a baby boy. They might only have one child. I don't know why I think they have a baby boy too. I think they do, because I think I've seen her holding him on her hip. They bought the house next door, and they'll sometimes be out in their yard, letting the kids kind of play around. My parents will let the dogs out, and they'll like say hi to Peanut, the Frenchie, because he's the only one smaller than them. But other than that, yeah, I'm pretty much the only neighbor on our block that goes outside and like actually gets in the grass. And I mean, I really take my shoes off. You'll see me walk outside, take my socks and shoes off, and I'll just stand there. And sometimes I'll do like what they call an OG squat, or my ex told me it was called an OG squat, where like you like set your feet down and like you squat down, but like you can put your elbows on your knees, like a low squat, like you're sitting on your heels almost, right? And like you're like on the balls of your feet. I don't know how to describe it. It's probably just a normal squat, but that's what he called it. So now that's what I always think of. And I'll like do that so it like isn't as obvious that I'm just trying to have my bare feet in the grass. But yeah, grounding is so healing. There's actually science behind it too. I'm really interested to delve into, where they talk about it's all frequencies. It's energy. Every single living thing, including Earth, has a frequency. It has an energy, and it recharges. Just like for extroverts and introverts. I'm an extrovert. I am extremely extroverted. So I get my charge from being around people and people that I have a certain connection with. It can't just be general people because I kind of get drained from that. But like people I'm really close with, I get really, really charged by it. Introverts, they need to kind of turn inward and isolate a little bit to recharge their social battery, right? So like we get our energy from different spaces. One of those sources is Mother Earth. So apparently there's science behind it. If anybody knows what that science is, please let me know. You're going to have them really looking. I'm going to try this. I mean, hey, I feel like it hides it pretty well. I feel like it does. Because it kind of looks like I'm just like hanging outside like I'm waiting for something. I also let the dogs outside with me. That way it looks like I have an excuse. Yeah, but I'm not bold enough to tan in the front yard yet. I might have to just get like a foldable, pardon me, like a foldable lawn chair that goes in the backyard so I can tan back there because I'm trying to get to my summer color. I had to close my blinds back here just so I didn't look like nostrils, eyebrows, and hair. Like my webcam, how it works with the lighting, I guess because I'm so light, is it just like completely, like I matched the wall behind me. It was pretty bad. But yeah, wow, I have talked for 31 minutes, y'all. I know my friends watching like know that's how I am, but it's borderline offensive to see a timer that's telling me how long I can talk. Thank you, Jesus, I'm not having such bad social anxiety. Y'all, when I say I was shaking and sweating before starting this, I was nervous. Let's see. I'm from Philly. We have row homes, so it's a little grass I'm working with. I feel you on that. I know there's a lot of stuff similar to that back home. I think Philly is a little bit closer together than even California. But yeah, like you got that little patch, almost like a patio, but it's like grass. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let's see. So I don't know how to navigate this. Let's give it a try. I had put some questions somewhere. Oh my God, it works. Oh, let's see. All right. Okay, so I had made up some questions because dead air really makes my social anxiety bad. So, but also because I want to interact. Like, I love everybody that like leaves comments. I really enjoy going on and reading them and responding. I have to remember sometimes like you can't always just say everything you want and be like, for me, I can't like get too personal or just kind of speak as freely as I normally do when I'm responding to comments, because sometimes I read them and I get in a mode of like almost like you like instant message me, right? But I really like the conversation part of my channel so far. So I just put some basic questions on here, and I thought we could kind of talk about it. I'd love to see you guys' answers in the comments. So the first question is, have you tried the carnivore diet or a carnivore diet spectrum diet, meaning keto, low carb, etc.? I know I started with a low carb. See, okay, so there's this book, and to this day, I cannot remember the name of it. I cannot find it. I'm gonna find that book and I'm going to tag it. That book changed my life. That book was the beginning of what got me here. I remember it was a yellow covered book. It was soft backed. It was at Barnes & Noble, and I was 19. I lived there, so I was 19. Okay, I was 19. Oh, my leg just fell asleep. Oh, that's uncomfortable. My foot's tingling. Oh, I don't like my foot being asleep. Yeah, so I read the book at Barnes & Noble. We couldn't afford to buy the books, so I would just hang out, go downtown, and we'd sit in Barnes & Noble. We'd just read books. And I read that whole book when I was in there. And the guy was talking about his experience. It was very informal. It was just really like a guy sharing his stories and then a bunch of testimonies that he found, right? So he shared his journey of how he grew up with, I think they're called fluffernutter sandwiches, if I remember correctly. I bet you if I Google that in a yellow page covered book, I'll be able to find the book. He talks about fluffernutters. and how he always had one and how he grew up with them. And it's, I guess, 2 pieces of white bread. One side has marshmallow fluff and the other side had peanut butter. Why do I feel like the peanut butter was sweetened somehow? It might have just been peanut butter, which, mind you, actually sounds really good. It sounds really guilty, but it sounds really good. And he said he grew up on those. You know, he grew up on mashed potatoes and biscuits and cornbread and all that being at every single meal. You could not have a meal without carbs. And that he really struggled. He was on every diet. He tried the boiled chicken breasts, white rice, and broccoli. He was talking about how he did all these diets until he learned how the body metabolizes food. And this is what clicked for me. He said there's 3 macronutrients, as we all know. There's protein, fat, and carbohydrates. He said your body will burn them in a specific order. It will prioritize burning through carbohydrates for sources of energy. If there's not enough carbohydrates, it will switch to fats. If there's not enough fat in your food or on your body, then it will switch to protein. So the explanation was that when he removed the carbohydrates, it forced his body to burn on fat. Now, he did not preach a technically keto diet. There was no macro ratios. He just said under like 30 net carbs a day or something like that, right? 30 carbs a day. And so that way his body would be forced to focus on his fat fuels. Now, he didn't talk about doing low fat like chicken breasts only, but he also didn't talk about focusing on chicken thighs, fattery cuts of meat, using a lot of butter. He just talked about removing the carbohydrates. And then he had all these testimonies at the back of the book. And I was like, oh, honey, I'm doing this. I went straight home. I said, Mom, I'm cutting out carbs. And when I tell you, she was like, okay, honey, I moved all the stuff because I've been the cook since I was like 10, 11 years old, probably more like 9, but I've been like more the full-blown cook since 10, 11 for the most part. I love cooking. I have a habit to take over a kitchen. And she liked it. So I remember I took in the book, he went over all the carby foods, right? All the things that you wouldn't think of, like corn. I'm thinking it's healthy at the time. And I remember I put it all in a separate cupboard because she didn't want me to throw anything away. And the next day I stopped eating all those carbs. I remember my breakfast was Power Greens. I swore by Power Greens. Actually, I miss Power Greens. Half a cup of cottage cheese with salt and pepper. The dressing for the salad was it was regular dressing, nothing sweet. It's either Caesar or Italian or balsamic, or at one point I just started using lemon juice, salt, and pepper. And then I'd have 2 whole eggs with an extra egg white. That was my breakfast every single day. I'd have salads, or I'd pack like these little Tupperwares where I'd have baked chicken breast chopped up, some celery, some carrots, some hard-boiled eggs, and then eventually I added a little bit of cucumber and a little bit of cottage cheese. And that would be like a snack pack, but really for the most part, that was my lunch. And I kept that with me, and that was when I lost the 100. I went from 320 about to 205, I think. Yeah. So that's what, about 120 pounds in 10 months doing that. So that's where I started, was actually on a low carb diet. And then my mom at the time actually used to always tell me, you're going to end up having ketosis. You're going to die of ketosis. It's going to burn all the healthy fat on your organs that you need. I was like, I'm losing weight. I feel great. If I die, I'm going to die happy. And then literally, what year was that? When I was 19. That was 2012? 2012, yeah, because I turned 20 in 2013. So in 2012, yeah, I was doing that. And then in 2018, all of a sudden, keto is this giant thing. And I was like, oh, I've already done that. All right, let's see. Carnivore girl. Yes, I do carnivore. You do ketovore. See, now, ketovore, I already know I was going to have a sweet spot in my heart. I feel like once I hit my weight, my goal weight, and I'm like at my peak physique that I want to be at, that I'm going to do, I think that's going to be where I do long term, like for a lifetime kind of thing. I think I'd like to do ketovore because I still like avocado. I still like olive oil sometimes. I just enjoy stuff like that. So I need to see, you need to tell me some of your ketovore recipes too, actually. I would love to hear about that. I'm doing the carnivore now, day 4. I started after the egg fast. Haven't had an egg since. I intended to eat eggs today since it's National Egg Day. Oh, wow, really? But didn't make it. Oh, my God, I forgot to buy eggs. We're out of eggs. Thank you for reminding me. Actually, I need to go buy eggs when we're done with this. Oops. But didn't make it on my fasting time now. Good for you. See, you're going to lose. You're going to, whatever your health goal is, you're going to hit it quickly with that, because heavily restricting carbohydrates from all sources and being on even just a meat-based or a keto diet and adding like intermittent fasting time windows to it, you drop weight so fast. I know someone that actually, I just hung out with someone on Saturday, and they were telling me how they're trying to beat their diabetes by incorporating intermittent fasting, but they didn't want to cut out carbs. They told me that they lost 25 pounds in the month of May by just incorporating intermittent fasting. And really, they were doing OMAD too, what he was telling me about. So it was more of an extreme, a heavier level of intermittent fasting. But mind you, they were still eating carbs. So, but yeah, fasting is a great tool. I'm trying to get back to it. I know once I get through a fat fast, a protein and fat fast, so an egg fast or a beef and butter fast or whatever it is, I find myself naturally fasting more. I'll not be as hungry in the morning. I'll forget to eat, especially if I'm busy. If I'm eating carbs, I think about food a lot more. I feel like the one thing I loved about doing semaglutide is it stopped the food noise. And I never knew what it was until I did the shots, right? And that's the best way to put it, is food noise. When you're a food addict, when you have obesities, when you have any form of eating disorder, there's a lot of people that have never been overweight or never had something like that. It's hard for them to understand, but it's like everything relates to food in your brain. Not literally everything, but most things. Like you come up with plans. Someone invites you out. Okay, what's around there that I can eat? Ooh, I want to go over here and eat this. Or, okay, I need to eat something just in case we go somewhere and the plates are too small. Or it's just crazy how obsessive, how addicted the human brain can be on food. So that was the one thing I loved about the shots, semaglutide or Ozempic, Wegovy, all that stuff. But the thing is it didn't fix the issue, because when I got off the shot, because I'm sorry, but a little girl cannot afford $600 a month, and my insurance was not going to cover it. Plus, they had a shortage. Like my mom got approved for Wegovy, and she went 9 months. I'm sorry, no, it's been a year. She just got her prescription filled, and that's because she got a doctor that knew which pharmacies refill faster. And she was at Walgreens. I guess Walgreens is like at the bottom of the totem pole for getting refills. So she switched to Safeway and got her prescription 2 weeks later. But yeah, it was, even if I had the prescription, I would have, and not spending the $600 a month, I still would have been out. So yeah, when I stopped it, I didn't really lose a lot of weight on it, because since I couldn't afford it, I never did the full dosage. I think you're supposed to do like 4.3 once a week. I think I stopped at like 2.5 because I was trying to stretch it out. Because like I said, I can't afford $600 a month. So I was on a lower dose. Because I got so comfortable knowing that my appetite had shrunk, I didn't put as much emphasis and focus on my what I was eating. So I was still having carbs. I was still giving into these things and drinking a lot of alcohol. So what bit of weight I did lose, I gained, and then I gained like another 15 pounds when I fully got off the shots. So I do not suggest it unless you plan on being it for the rest of your life. But to each his own. If it worked for you and you got off successfully, let me know. All right, so let's see. That's ironic that we were just talking about fasting too. Has anybody else done any type of fasting? And if so, what was your longest fast? So I first found out about or considered fasting in 2020. My friend and I were really it was before I got my hormonal birth control. We were on this great trajectory, losing weight. I was down to, I think the low 240s. And I was doing keto, and we were working out. We were doing a lot of hiking, and I went running on a trail, and I just overdid the training, the working out, because we went from working all the time to having all this time. And I was one of those people that was outside during COVID. I wasn't around people. We went on secluded trails, so we were outside in nature, but we were outside. We took full advantage of it, right? So I just went from having a desk job to doing really intense hikes and long walks. We'd walk like 10 miles in a day. I miss it. But yeah, I got really bad shin splints in both legs, and I was literally on bed rest it was more than 2 weeks. I want to say it was like 6 weeks. Or was it 2 weeks? No, it might have been 2 weeks before I was able to walk at all. I mean, I could barely walk 15 steps to the bathroom. I had crutches that I had to use just to go to the bathroom. My shin splints were so bad, I thought I had broken my legs. So I gained 15 or 20 pounds because my appetite was still revved up. My appetite was still revved up from how I'd been eating. Plus, since I was depressed and I was missing out on all that stuff, it was a major shock to me. Being outside is like mental health for me, mental health improvement. I lost my exercise. I was now stuck in bed, and that really inflamed my coping mechanism of binge eating. So I gained, I think, 15 or 20 pounds in those 2 weeks or whatever it was. So afterwards, I was like, okay, if I'm going to be on bed rest, I need to look up other things. So that's when I started looking into fasting. And that was when I first started fasting. And it actually helped me lose some of the weight. Let's see. Let's see what you say. Yes, I will do Carnivore too when I get to my goal weight. I have 100 pounds to lose. I have done it before, but this is the last time since I have found this way of eating. Good for you. Girl, I can't wait till I can say I only got 100 pounds. That way I can start being like, oh, it's only double digits. So close. You're so close. Keep going. I absolutely love veggies and salads too. I miss a Cobb salad. I make a mean Caesar dressing. My job, they let us cook and bring it in for the team. I'm like, don't tell me that, because I will make so much food. I just love cooking for people. They're like, what's your specialty? And that's a question I really, really hate, because I don't really have a specialty technically. There's not one dish that I love making consistently. There's just certain things I have to feel it in my spirit to want to cook it. And I'm a very intuitive cook. So I typically don't measure things. I just do it until it feels right. And then it usually comes out really good. But my answer was salad dressings and soups for my specialty, which I'm really good at making those too. Those are my odd thing that I almost never mess up. And so they were like, yes, please bring in something healthy for us. I was like, don't. I'll bring in salads. Y'all. I miss my Caesar dressing. With Carnivore, I do 2 days of avocado or tomato onion. The other days are full carnivore. Oh, I like that idea. Oh my God, I never thought about doing Carnivore days. Y'all, my wheels are working. Oh my God, that just made me so excited. Blake's here. Hi. I'm doing my first live. I'm so nervous. Oh my God. It was honest. I was so nervous. I was like, please help him come. It'll make me feel better. And I was totally fine that I saw you. I was like, oh my God, I forgot I'm on live. I feel like I'm just chatting, and then I got nervous for a moment. But I'm so happy you guys are here. Hi, Harley and the kiddos. How's it going? It's going great. I have managed to talk without a breath for the past 49 minutes and 7 seconds. Yeah. Welcome to my personality. Oh, thank you. Welcome to my first. Yeah, welcome to my first live. This is fun. So let's see. We were just. That is a word that since moving to Texas, howdy has recently become a big part of my vocabulary, to the point where I frustrate myself. People walk past my desk and it'll be like my 5th time of the day saying howdy, and I'm like, why do I say this? I don't even know who I got it from, but howdy right back. Okay, you guys, let's see. What is my next question? I only got 10 minutes left. Do I have to only do an hour? I'm not going to talk your head off for over an hour. Okay, so yeah, who's on a weight loss journey or or a health journey of any kind? Because I know health journeys go both ways. I've known a lot of people. I grew up with a lot of people that could not gain weight to save their life, and it was always whenever we would talk about it, one would always kind of be hurt by the other one. Me saying, I wish I had that problem. Them saying, I wish I had that problem. Like, so I always want to make sure we're inclusive for both. But yeah, and how is your health journey going for you? It is definitely a journey. It is definitely not, progress is not linear. Healing is not linear. And I feel like as a society, we really have to focus more on the fact that getting healthy, it's not just a diet. It's not just weight loss. It's not just physical goals. It's healing. You're not going to get healthy until you heal. I've lost a lot of the weight. I've never been under 200 pounds as an adult, so I feel like I can't say I've lost the weight, but I've lost a lot of weight. Almost 120 pounds or a little over 120 pounds at one point in my life. And then I've gained most of it back, and then I lost another 80 pounds, and I've gained it back, and now what was I today? 59. So I'm what, 60 pounds? Roughly 60 pounds lighter than my highest ever. But yeah, at no point did I focus on the healing part. So yeah, I feel like that's why I just keep saying, like, this is when I know I'm going to do it this time. Like, I know it. Like, you can't tell me different. The devil can try to come kick me when I'm down, but I know I'm going to get back up. So, and I think that's because I'm focusing on the healing part of it. Country girl, I'm on a health journey, and weight loss will come. Absolutely. I feel like our bodies and our reality are truly just a manifestation and a representation of what's going on within us. So trauma, turmoil, struggles, self-doubt, lack of self-esteem, they manifest in different ways for each of us. Some people, who was it? What was that in the book? It was in the book of The Power of Positive Thinking. I'm telling you, listen to that audiobook on YouTube. I just listened to it on repeat. Ooh, my leg fell back asleep. Ouch. Oh, now my knee is asleep. How the heck does that happen? There's a story in it where a doctor was explaining that he had a patient that came to him. She had this horrific rash all over her body. Nothing got rid of it. They thought she was allergic to something. I think they ended up getting rid of like a ton of stuff that she could be allergic to, and it never went away. So he sent her to a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Now, you have to listen to the book because this is just how I remember it. There's probably off a little bit, which is why I'm not big on repeating things too much. But let me say it this way. What I took away from it is that she spoke with the therapist or the doctor, and they after she got mad that they implied that there's something going on internally that's wrong with her, that the issue is within her. She left, and then she ended up coming back saying, I need help. I'll do whatever you say. And she ends up talking about something, and long story short, they found out that she was harboring a lot of resentment and hate because of something, feeling mistreated, and like after the death of a family member, like the drama that always shows people's true colors. And that I think they ended up having her like talk to her brother or whoever it was, the family member, and coming to a resolution of it and like being able to get it off her chest and healing from it. And her rash went away in 24 hours. Like, people really underestimate how powerful our brain is. So this is a manifestation of what has been going on in here. And trust me, as much as I talk, I have about 50 thoughts per word that comes out my mouth. And most of my life, they haven't been very positive. So a lot of what has been going on in my life is all what my mind and my spirit have been putting out, coming back to me. My body is what my mind and my spirit are saying, this is how we are internally. This is how we'll be externally. We are an external representation of our spirit and our mind. So we can't fix it if we don't fix our mind. So, let's see. It's going good for me so far. I have a big Father's Day dinner coming up at my house, and we're cooking soul food. Oh, I wish I was coming over. And barbecue, so I'm kind of nervous about being around all that food, but I will do my best. You've got it. You've got it. And if you, and I'm not encouraging you to go off plan, but if you were to go off plan, don't beat yourself up about it. Don't, because I'm learning that although I'm definitely not a moderator, that if I feel like my experience of something is really being negatively affected, because at the end of the day, I'm a food addict and I struggle with alcoholism, So sometimes being in situations, me trying to resist completely cold turkey makes the experience, it really takes away from the positives. And that sounds terrible. That sounds really weak, but that is addiction. Like I was diagnosed as a food addict at 11 or 12. Like my doctor was literally finding me food addict, like FAA meetings. I think it's FA. Even though it should be FAA, Food Addicts Anonymous, but I think it was just FA. I never ended up going to a meeting, but yeah, I was diagnosed with it, and then I've known I struggle with alcoholism since I was much younger than I should have been. But yeah, something I've learned is that, or I'm learning, is that if I feel like I can have 2 chips, which mind you, when I do go off plan and like there's chips in the kitchen, if I'm like, oh my God, like I want to eat that box of cookies, I'll reach in the bag and I'll have 1 chip. Usually that chip is not what I remember chips being like. So I'm like, yeah, I'm good, but if I go off plan, I don't beat myself up about it anymore. I just make sure that I prove to myself that it is not a continued habit, that I am, the next meal I have, the next thing I put in my mouth is going to be right. But yeah, girl, if you can make it through it, power to you. Because each time you make it through a situation where you can go off the rails real easy and you really want to, each time you get through it and you successfully make it through is another thing that you can go back and remind yourself of when you're struggling in the future. It's a reminder. So good for you, girl. I wish I was having soul food. Let's see. Oh my God, it's been an hour. I'm so sorry, you guys. Okay, let's see. What do I want to talk? What do we want to ask? Okay, so I do have a couple of questions regarding the channel. So I got 3 questions about the channel, and then I'm going to talk to you about my trip, and then we'll wrap it up. So what kind of challenges would you guys like to see and be a part of? I feel like I have kind of hit a wall. I feel like 6 weeks, because I have something at the end of it, is making me feel like I don't need to change my challenge because I failed on a week. When I do the 1 month things, or I'll do a couple of weeks or something, if I slip up during a week, if I gain weight during the week, I'm always tempted to just throw away the whole challenge. But I think because I have something to look forward to at the end of this, after the 6 weeks, and for some reason 6 weeks just is like a sweet spot to me, I think. It feels like there's enough time to make mistakes, but correct yourself and then still have success on it, if that makes sense. I really like it. I like doing the 6 weeks. I'm sorry, my brain just kind of skipped a few beats. But yeah, I'm kind of running out of ideas. And I know after the 6 weeks, I'll have my trip. We'll talk about the plan for that at the end of this video, which will hopefully be in the next few minutes. And but yeah, I want to have a couple of challenges lined up and the next goals. So I would love to hear what you guys think. Let's see. You're a self-proclaimed carb addict. Honestly, most humans are. Most Americans are, for sure. Hey, Carnivore Muscle. Hey, Jonathan, how are you? Welcome. I'm on my first live by myself. Welcome. But yeah, I really want to know what kind of challenges you guys would be interested in doing, because I need ideas. And obviously we have time. We're only This is week 3 of the 6 weeks. So I've got time. I really hope I can figure out how to save this, because it told me since I'm not a premium on StreamYard, it's not going to record it. But we'll see if I can figure out how to keep it. But hopefully, fingers crossed, send a prayer for me. But yeah, you guys can leave any comments below regarding what type of challenges you'd like to see, or on any video, really. Like, I love suggestions. I'm always open to ideas. My thing is just delivery. Like, even if it's constructive criticism, as long as it's delivered in a way that's obviously compassionate, it's a lot more palatable, because I got a spicy side and I can be a defensive little brat sometimes. You want to start walking again? So do I. I've been getting this message. Ooh, you can see my house shorts. Don't mind me. I've been getting messages, signs, whatever you want to call it, intuitions, things like that, to do more walking, but also to get on a schedule, create a true routine, because I'm freeballing it right now. And although from my eating perspective, I find I crave carnivore foods more if I'm not like super meal prepped out, because I get tired of the same things, and I don't really like how reheated it, apparently. I don't know when I decided to be bougie, but yeah, I definitely think I want to do more walking, and maybe something to do with the schedule, like creating a time blocking routine. Maybe that's something else too. Let's see. Well, question. I'd like to see a water only challenge for hydration. A water only challenge, like a water fast, or like hitting a water goal every day. Because I'd be down to, I do actually, that's another thing I've been thinking about, is I need to do more of a water goal again, because I have it's downstairs in the kitchen. I have my half a gallon of water, and I have not drank more than one in a day in a while, y'all. Like, in a while. So I've been thinking about that, and I'm like, yeah, I need to get back on it. I don't think I want to force a gallon a day. I liked when I was doing your program that it was to thirst. What I'm finding is that I've gotten back hooked on coffee, and I've gotten to the point where drinking coffee is limiting how much water I want, or how much water I'm thirsty for again, which was an issue I used to struggle with. So it means I feel like I just talked myself through the issue. I need to cut back on my coffee. Okay, let's see. How about a dairy-free challenge except for butter? I gotta have it. I agree. I feel like butter, although yes, it's technically dairy, and if you're like a real bad lactose intolerant, you're definitely gonna know if there's butter in something. But I feel like on carnivore, butter should not be considered a dairy. But yeah, I agree. A dairy-free challenge would be good. I really enjoyed the February dairy-free challenge. I felt good on it. I felt like cleaner, if that makes sense. Like, I felt like I wasn't like I got gunk out of me. I don't know how to put it. Like, I don't know. That sounds a little weird. Maybe I take that back. But I just felt like, I don't know. Cleaner is just the best way to put it. But yeah, I definitely think we should do a dairy-free challenge. Maybe I just need to stop overlapping multiple things at once and just do one challenge at a time. Okay, let's see. All you drink is water. Good for you. That's so good for you. Let's see. That would be good. Help you kick your coffee habit. I also heard that some people actually drink water and it gives them like energy. Maybe it's like what you're saying here. Current diet plus water and salt. Oh, so carnivore, water, and salt. Okay, I get what you're saying. So like water only. In other words, don't drink anything else. Light bulb. I'm slow sometimes. Y'all, bear with me. I'm not always all there. I'd be down for that, actually. Me too. And my cup of coffee a day, I have it with some half and half. See, I love half and half. I'm bad. I could really drink half and half straight. Those like coffee creamers. like the international or intercontinental, whatever it's called. Like, and it's got like the little angled spout and it's like a bottle. The one that's really good. My mom, my mom got it one time when I was little, and it was in the fridge of the door where I could reach it. When I tell you I drank half that like it was a glass of milk, she never bought it again. She never bought it again. I can drink half and half. I could drink creamer, but I don't use half and half if I use creams in my coffees, just because it has a higher sugar content than heavy cream. But half and half is so good in coffee. It is so good. It's so good. And at the end of the day, it's better than sweetened coconut milk or, or shoot, even regular milk. Regular milk is really high in sugar. I'm dairy free except on Sundays I have cottage cheese as a treat. Oh my God, I miss cottage cheese. I'm also really hungry, by the way. I thought I was going to have time to make dinner, but I borderline had a panic attack while I was trying to get this set up and figure out the lighting because, like I said, with the blinds open, I matched the wall, and all you can see is my eyebrows, the brown of my eyes, the dark from my nostrils, and my hair. It was really creepy. Okay. So I was actually talking with my friend Fia. She's actually watching with us about lives and ideas for what to watch for lives, what to do for lives. I would really like to know if people would like to do like where you can come in and chat. We have like a conversation. You can hop on the live, do the audio, the video if you'd like. You could just do audio if you don't want to do video. I would typically be that person if I was the viewer. But yeah, I was thinking about doing like a make dinner with me live, right? Because so every Friday night, so when I relocated to Texas, I moved in with my dad and stepmom, and my grandparents moved in as well. So it is a full house. And on Fridays, my contribution is I make dinner for the family. I am the only one that does any type of restrictive diet. I think my stepmom usually eats really healthy. She's a more health conscious person. No one is morbidly obese like me. But they all eat, they eat carbs. So dinner's usually a protein, a carb, and at least one vegetable. So I was thinking maybe I could start trying to come up with ideas of doing like dinners, showing how to make dinner for family members that eat carbs and vegetables, but also making a carnivore version for myself and doing like a cooking live, because who doesn't love dinner done in less than an hour? Although this live is so far an hour and 7 minutes. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. I'm so sorry, you guys. But yeah. So yeah, that's what I was thinking. She was also suggesting like a carnivore mukbang, like Q&A type of live. I don't know if anybody on my channel is into mukbangs. I used to love watching mukbangs, and I think that's what created my love for seafood boils, because I used to watch B Loves Life. I also loved it because she was the only other Black Bethany. Like, my name is Bethany and I'm half Black. Everybody named Bethany is always going to be fair complected. Most of them are blonde. Lately I've seen more brunettes, but they're all, Caucasian women. They're never minority women. So I was like, oh my God, you got my name too. I was like, I feel so understood all of a sudden. But yeah, I loved watching her mukbangs, but I don't know if anybody on here would watch that. Lives like Zoom calls. I'm old, not far with that. Oh, I'm old, not far. Like, this is a live. So this is a live stream. Like, so instead of just sitting in my room chit-chatting, I'm trying to think of like other things I could do. I could prop up my camera in the kitchen and you know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking. Like, maybe do like show how to make a dinner for like your family that eats carbs, but also making dinner for yourself when you're carnivore and not having to make 2 whole separate meals. Because I feel like a struggle for a lot of people is most of the time the whole household doesn't go onto a diet with you. You know what I mean? We're usually the only ones that in the household. It's typically one person at a time. Sometimes they'll catch on like wildfire, which is ideal. You always hope that, but yeah. Yes, do a mukbang. Okay, see, I like that. Thank you. Thank you, you guys. Okay, so I'm definitely going to that means I'm going to have to get over eating on camera. I don't think I'm that awkward with eating on camera. I just feel like whenever I think of a mukbang, I'm always thinking of seafood boil. Because like I said, I used to only watch B Love's Life. Just thinking about that makes me want some shrimp boil. I'm so hungry, you guys. But I feel like I eat that stuff like a slob. So I'm gonna have to practice and see what I look like eating on camera before I do a mukbang. But cooking live, I definitely could. That we might be onto something here, you guys. Hi, Aunt Cuties. How are you? I cook my meats and make him a side or salad. I like. See, that's what I do a lot. That's what I do a lot. Granted, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of the time, I end up eating what they eat. I'm not gonna lie. Although I will say, this past Friday, something I realized is that when I break my diet, I don't break and stick to keto. I break it just carbs. I forgot, if I'm gonna break my diet, I would probably still have better success if I felt the need to give in. I stuck to keto. So I made dinner for the house. I made pork loin in the pressure cooker. I made a little like instant pack of mashed potatoes, which are actually pretty good. Yes, I had some, but I only had a spoonful. And then some onion gravy, the chicken onion gravy, and a big bag of salad. And I mostly ate pork loin and salad. And then my last plate, of course, I had a serving spoonful of mashed potatoes with some gravy. But, see, I'm always going to be honest with you. All right, let's see. All right, now this is the last question. So, because I'm going to talk to you about my trip before I let you be free. So I'm interested in what type of footage you guys like from the trip. So I know I've talked about the fact that I have a trip. I do officially have dates. I'm going back to California the night of June 28th, and I'll be coming back to Texas the night of July 8th. I am that type of person. I like to fly after work so I can get my full first day of vacation on vacation. And I'm the person that likes to fly back later afternoon, the last day of vacation, so I can enjoy that day of vacation. I also only have a 4-hour flight. I'm not going, 16 hours to France or something. Is that 16 hours? I don't know. So yeah, I want to know what type of footage would you guys like to see. I'm thinking of doing a vlog day maybe, but I also know myself. And I know that I struggle with remembering to pick up the camera. I'm a very in the moment person, especially when I'm around my people. And I get so caught up in the moment and wanting to spend time together that I forget to record things. And I always feel like it's like half-assed if I don't really record everything. That's also a mentality thing I need to get myself out of. But I'd like to see what footage are you guys thinking of. Like, would you like just to see it like a slideshow of photos? I'll remember to take photos. That's easier to remember. And then put like music behind it. Do you want to go on hikes with me? Oh, should I do a live or two while I'm out there? That would be fun too, actually. My wheels are just working, y'all. But yeah, let me know what you would like to see from the trip. So my plan is I'm going to go back home. I will be going to San Francisco Pride Saturday the 29th, I believe. I am my birthday is Tuesday the 2nd. So I will be doing a Brazilian steakhouse for dinner. I'm going to take my mom out. I usually take her there for her birthday. I missed her birthday, Mother's Day. I'm going to miss this birthday. Plus, it's my birthday. So I'm like, let me just treat and go. She also doesn't know I'm coming. It's a surprise. You like to see, I'll try my best to remember Brazilian steakhouse. I don't go to Fogo de Chao, which is like the really big one in the Bay Area and here in Houston. I'm sure it's other places too. I go to one in Concord called Brasas de Brazil, something like that. Really good. It's like $60 a person instead of 80 or 90. Excuse me. And but it's really good. It's a carnivore's heaven because you don't have to go buy the non-carnivore food. And they just come around with fresh rotisserie meats and they just slice it fresh onto your plate. Oh, it's so good. I cannot wait. But honestly, I do not plan on being carnivore for my trip. I do plan on not eating like a ton of carbs. I don't want to be eating any family size bags of chips. I don't want to just eat pointless carbs. I want to eat the things that I'm going to miss. Like we always used to go to Salt and Straw. It's an ice cream place. Their ice cream, I think, is like 2 steps shy of butter. It's so rich. It is so good. Oh my God. If you break your diet and you're in the Bay Area, get Salt and Straw. Enough said. I definitely want to get Salt and Straw. I probably want to get something from Nothing But Cakes. Actually, I'll probably skip that. When I go to the Brazilian steakhouse, I'll probably want to have the little, the little cheesy breads, the little Brazilian cheese bread. But yeah, besides that, like everybody out there already eats really healthy. Like they're not super carb heavy. My mom's house and both my friends' houses, they're not really big on like having cookies out and things like that. So it's already more aligned with how I eat. But yeah, I don't plan on sticking to carnivore on my trip, but I do not want to do like off the rails. I'm not trying to completely undo it, but I want to enjoy the moments. There's a pop-up. I don't know if they do it anymore in San Francisco. It's called Friends with Benedicts, like Egg Benedicts. Such a good brunch spot. If they still have it, I think it's on Polk Street. It's only Saturday and Sundays, and they do brunch in San Francisco. It is so good. If they're still there, I'm going. I will be going. Actually, I'm gonna have to text my friend Nia and tell her to remind me. Do that before we do Pride. Let's see. Just do whatever you want to do. I will watch. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm so shocked at like how kind everybody is on my channel. I had such fear of doing a channel for so many years because I was just afraid I was going to get bullied so bad. You can tell the lighting's going down because now it's just computer light. But yeah, I think that just about wraps it up. I'm really excited for my trip. I am going to try to figure out a schedule. I want to do weekly lives because my goal is to be monetized on my channel. And I hit the first marker of the 500 subscribers, but you have to also have 3,000 watch hours. And I've heard that doing lives is the best way to get there. And honestly, I'm not going to lie. I actually enjoyed this a lot more than recording a video. Like being able to talk to you and see your interaction. This is like, it almost feels healing. Like this makes me absolutely fall back in love with my channel even more. The sun goes down really fast at this point of night, and we're almost at an hour and 20 minutes. I was afraid I was only going to have 30 minutes because I would have dead air, and I totally forgot who I was. I never shut up. I also talk a lot when I'm nervous, so maybe I'm nervous and I'm just excited. So it came out in a positive way. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming to see my first live. I really hope I can figure out how to save this because I kind of want to be able to look back at this. I really hope StreamYard lets me do it. Honestly, I'll just subscribe to Premium if it means I can keep this and put it on my channel. But I really appreciate everybody coming and interacting with me. I am, like I always say it on my channel, like I wish I could find a catchy way to say it because I would love it to be my slogan, but I'm always going to be authentic over being aesthetic. I just always want to be me, and I really appreciate you guys accepting me for it and not hating me for the roller coaster that is my life. Because like I said before, it's a roller coaster to watch it. Imagine living it and it being inside yourself. So hi, cuties. I think that's Mila. Hi, Mimi, if that's you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, you guys. I'm going to have to figure out a time frame that works for my schedule and everybody else's schedule. And I want to make sure that it is Mila. Hi, Mimi. I want to make sure that it doesn't conflict with anybody else that I follow, like Carnivore Muscle, Carnivore and 24. I don't want it to conflict with their live stream times as well. I don't know if people normally consider stuff like that, but I feel like it's such a community, like why not? So, but yeah. Anyway, before I end up doing an outro 5 times over because I'll just get sidetracked and start ADHDing out on it, and I'm really hungry. I think I'm going to go get wings for dinner tonight and celebrate. But I really appreciate you guys so much, and I'm really glad that we're finally making progress, and I'm really feeling the momentum, and that it really seems like focusing on mental health was the key to getting started. So I'm excited for the new challenges, and I will let you know how, when I come up with a schedule, and maybe we'll start doing polls for what the next challenges should be. I think that's a good idea too. That way everybody can let me know their thoughts and we can get a vote. I mean, doing 2 hours of lives a week for 18 months. They're great. It's saved automatically. See, I like that. That's good to know. Thank you. I'm going to start out with an hour. Well, obviously I talk a lot, so probably an hour and a half, but 1 live a week. And then I'm going to work my way up from there. I'm really enjoying this. But yeah, I had a great time, you guys. So hopefully I can figure out, how do I turn that off? Hopefully I can figure out how to save this. And I look forward to my next live, you guys. I'm excited for the weekly update too. So thank y'all for coming. I hope you have a blessed night. Focus on your mental health. Don't give up. Only thing it takes to succeed is to keep getting up. Don't count how many times you fall down. Don't count how bad you fell down. Just decide, I'm getting back up. And that's all it takes to succeed. That is the only thing that's necessary, is just to decide you're going to keep getting back up. And eventually you're going to stop falling. I feel like stopping counting how many times we fall makes it a lot easier to keep getting up. Bye, Mimi. I love you too, sweetie. I'll see you sometime this summer, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Oh my God, it's 2 a.m. Boy, go to sleep. You will not catch me up at 2 o'clock in the morning for nothing. I don't even be at the bars at 2 o'clock in the morning. Also, I don't go out. So, but anyway, see, here I go again. I'll just end up doing more outros. So that's all for tonight, you guys. Thank you guys so much for coming to see my live. Thank you so much for making it such a good experience for me. I feel like I'm in cloud nine. I might actually cry tears of joy when I end this camera, but I'm just really grateful. So thank you guys for coming. Disregard my emotional cancer self, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.